The jail. As I walked through the wilderness of this world, I lighted on a certain place where was a den, and I laid me down in that place to sleep. And as I slept, I dreamed a dream. I dreamed, and behold, I saw a man clothed with rags, standing in a certain place, with his face from his own house, a book in his hand, and a great burden upon his back. I looked, and saw him open the book, and read therein, and as he read, he wept and trembled, and not being able longer to contain, he brake out with a lamentable cry, saying, What shall I do? In this plight, therefore, he went home and refrained himself as long as he could, that his wife and children should not perceive his distress. But he could not be silent long, because that his trouble increased. Wherefore at length he brake his mind off to his wife and children, and thus he began to talk to them. O my dear wife, said he, and you the children of my bowels, I, your dear friend, am in myself undone, by reason of a burden that lieth hard upon me. Moreover, I am for certain informed that this our city will be burned with fire from heaven, in which fearful or true, both myself with thee, my wife, and you, my sweet babies, shall miserably come to ruin, except the which yet I see not. Some way of escape can be found, whereby we may be delivered. At this his relations were sore amazed, not for that they believed that what he had said to them was true, but because they thought that some frenzy distemper had got into his head, therefore it drawing towards night, and they hoping that sleep might settle his brains, with all haste they got him to bed. But he night was an troublesome to him as the day, wherefore, instead of sleeping, he spent it in sighs and tears. So when the morning was came, they would know how he did. He told them worse and worse. He also set to talking to them again, but they began to be hardened. They also thought to drive away his distemper by harsh and surly carriages to him. Sometimes they would deride, sometimes they would cheat, and sometimes they would quite neglect him. Wherefore he began to retire himself to his clamber, to pray for and pity them, and also to condole his own misery. He would also walk solitarily in the fields, sometimes reading and sometimes praying, and thus for some days he spent his time. Now I saw upon a time when he was walking in the fields, that he was, as he was wont, reading in his books, and greatly distressed in his mind. And as he read, he burst out, as he had done before, crying, What shall I do to be saved? I saw also that he looked his way and that way, as if he would run, yet he stood still, because as I perceived, he could not tell which way to go. I looked down, and saw a man named Evangelist coming to him, who asked, "Wherefore dost thou cry?" He answers, "Sir, I perceive by the book in my hand that I am condemned to die, and after that to come to judgment, and I find that I'm not willing to do the first, nor able to do the second." Then said Evangelist, "Why not willing to die, since this life is attended with so many evils?" The man answered, "Because I fear that this burden that is upon my back will sink me lower than the grave, and I shall fall into Tophet. And sir, if I be not fit to go to the prison, I'm not fit, I'm sure, not to go to judgment, and from thence to execution, and the thought of these things make me cry."